Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the AusCycling YouTube channel. We're coming to you live from the Anna Meares Velodrome for the 2024 AusCycling Elite and Under-19 Track National Championships. Racing is going to get underway in just a few moments' time. We've got a big day of racing here. We've got the women's sprints through the junior 19s and elites. We've got the men's Kieran later today. We've got the junior 19 Kieran. Later on tonight, we will have the points race for the elite men. We've got the individual pursuits for the junior women and also the elite women. We've got a huge day of racing here. It's quite a warm day in Queensland today, in Brisbane especially, 33 degrees, so it will be quite muggy conditions for our riders today. But I hope you can settle in and enjoy today's racing. Just coming up to 2 minutes to 11 now, our first event that will come out onto the track very shortly. We'll see our junior women under-19s lining up in the back straight. It'll be the 200-metre qualifying for them. You can see riders are just going to the back straight now. Looking forward to some fast times here this morning from our junior 19s. And then, of course, we've got the elite women's sprint as well. So we've pretty much got a very similar program to yesterday, just in reverse order. However, we do have two heats of the junior men's 19s scratch race here today on our day session for riders to be able to make the final that will be held tonight. And of course, we have the elite men's points race to finish off the program this evening. Plenty of racing in between. And we had superb racing yesterday and last night, and look forward to some of the same now as our riders get themselves ready. The first rider that's going to come out onto the track was rider 135 from New South Wales. So that'll be Sonia Vitesh. She'll be the first one to set a time here today. So, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome our first rider now out on track, rider 135 from New South Wales. This is Sarah Vetich. She'll be our first rider going out there now to set the first time of the day. We've got 11 competitors in all in our junior women 19 sprint qualifying. So out of that 11, 10 will go through to round one but the fastest qualifier will get a bye in round 1. Then there'll be 5 heats in round 1. The winner will go straight through to the quarterfinals, and then there will be 2 repechage heats for the losers, and the winners of each of those will go through to the quarterfinals. So a real old school sprinting style with repechages involved here today. Big opportunity for these riders to really get the feel for the Anna Meares Velodrome as Vetic gets underway now on the Argon bike, double Mavic disc as she goes through the 200 metres. Nice line as she heads down the back straight here. Always the toughest job in cycling, to being the first one on track of the day and then also being the first one in a qualifying situation. Sarah goes across the line, sets a time of 12.826 to start the day off. Sonia Vetic sets a time 12.826. We welcome our next rider onto the track, who's just heading out of the back straight now from the ACT. This is Sarah Berger from the ACT. 12.82 is the first time up on the board. We'll go through the list here. Hope Harnety, Hayley Jack, Olivia Wright, Victoria Smith, Natasha Sitsky, Ella Liang, Phoenix Julian, Maya Dillon and Lilia Tatarinov will be our last rider to go for a qualifying time here this morning. So a very, very good field. Sarah, nice line into the 200. First of all, just wants to get a time underneath that of Sonia, who's already gone through. Fastest time through the first 100 here for our junior women 19s. Comes up and she'll stop the clock. 12.767, so she goes into the hot seat just for the moment. As we welcome our next rider into the home straight, rider 146, representing Victoria. This is Hope Harnety. Saw some great racing yesterday in the junior men's sprint and also the elite men's. Tate Ryan taking out the junior men's sprint from South Australia. Matthew Richardson taking out the elite men's sprint for the 4th time. Some great racing. And of course, today we've got junior women's sprint and also the elite women's sprint to come in qualifying here this morning. The sprint competition will be all finished today and this evening. So a lot of action, a lot of medals to be handed out over this next few days. 5 days of competition. We're just starting off in day number 2 as Hope starts to build up speed into the home straight this time. Well practiced, good line, all of these riders showing at this young level as they go through the 200. Fastest time again through the first 100 here. Let's see how Harnety can hang on to it. Can she get under 12? 12.189. She now goes to the top of the leaderboard. So everything going correctly for seeding so far. So Hope Harnety, 12.189 as we welcome our next rider into the home straight. It's another of our Victorian riders. And it's Hayley Jack, rider 145, heads her way down the back straight now. So Harnety, 12.189. 12.767 for Sarah Berger. Sonia Vetic, 12.82. They're our top 3 so far who have ridden. If you're joining us on the AusCycling YouTube channel today, welcome. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's coverage. There was some great racing. If you're sitting in the grandstands and listening to the coverage now, just maybe a few text messages to friends and family who possibly can't be here today, just to remind them that they can jump on to the AusCycling YouTube channel. As Hayley heads down the back straight, nice and smooth, moving very nicely. Second quickest through the first 100. Bit of a surprise. Let's see how she finishes off here. Hayley Jack, she'll stop the clock. 12.269 for Hayley. So Hope Harnety hangs on to the top spot just for now as we welcome the first of our Queensland riders out onto the track. This is Olivia Wright, and she's got some support here in the stands today, which is nice to hear. So, text message to all the loved ones, all the family. YouTube channel of AusCycling so they can see all the action. If you'd like to see the results, the live results, you can do this from your phone or an iPad. Just go to results.auscycling.org.au for the live results. And you'll be able to see all of the times. They give you the split times of the 100 and the 200 and all of the differences. All of the racing program on there live all day long, which is fantastic for this sort of competition. You'll see it as soon as I see it. So right up to date with the information here at the National Championships. Olivia Wright goes in, home track advantage. Knows where everything is here as she heads down the back straight, moving nicely as well. We'll see how she goes through the first 100. Quickest time so far for the Queenslander. Got to hang on to it, be nice and strong up the home straight. 12.265. Nice ride, goes to number 2. Another one of our Queenslanders now. We welcome Victoria Smith, rider 140 into the home straight. So Hope Harnety hangs on to that top spot for now. 5 riders gone of the 11, so good spot to be in for now. Building up pace nicely now. Not totally glued against the fence now, using the banking just to get up on top of the gear. Long drawn out sprint here from Victoria Smith as she gets on top of the gear. Well forward over the bike. She'll go into the 200. The lines of these riders have been perfect so far this morning. Really fighting the bike down the back straight. Not the quickest time just yet. A little bit of work to do in the home straight here for Victoria. We'll see where she stops the clock. 12.409 for Victoria Smith. Finishes in 4th place for now. Our next rider, rider number 7, out onto the track, but number 126 from the ACT, just coming into the home straight again. This is Natasha Sitsky. So Hope Harnety still on top of the leaderboard, 12.189. She's got 5 more riders to go, so she'll be feeling pretty good at the moment. She'd like to be able to see 1 or 2 more, not quite take her time, get herself up into that top 4 area. Just makes it so much easier in the sprint rounds as you move forward. Sitsky very low on the track as she goes into the 200, moving nicely down the back straight here. The rider from the ACT goes through the first 100, second fastest time at the moment. Harnety will breathe a sigh of relief, goes to the line here. Second fastest time, 12.209. It's quite congested at the top of the leaderboard. The time's quite close. Hope Harnety, she still sits in number 1. We welcome the next of our Queenslanders into the home straight. Rider 138 is Ella Liang. Ella Liang, very successful in the under-17 ranks at national championships and so forth. Just a week or so ago, she won the Oceania Scratch Race Championship in New Zealand, so she's bang on form. She'll be looking to get herself up into the top spot of qualifying here. Always nice to leave the track in top spot in a qualifying situation. Ella Liang through the 200 now as she heads down the back straight, looking for top spot here. Junior 19 is always looking for a PB at a Nationals as well. Fastest time through the 100 so far. Into the home straight now. Ella Liang goes to the line, 11.972. Fastest time so far. First rider to break 12 seconds. A lot of support in the grandstand for Ella there, as you would have heard. A New South Wales rider, right 134, coming in to get 2 laps to go now. Phoenix Julian from New South Wales. So Ella Liang at the top of the leaderboard, 11.972, first rider to go under 12 seconds. Phoenix building up pace here. Nice and smooth down the back straight. Really needs to get more out of the gear down the back straight here. She goes through the first 100. A little bit of work to do in the home straight to get a bit further up the leaderboard here for Julian. They go to the line, 6th place so far, 12.311 for the New South Wales rider. And now we'll see her teammate in the home straight, rider 133. This is Maya Dillon from New South Wales. Maya Dillon comes into the home straight. 2 laps to go. It's our second last rider in the junior women's 19s sprint qualification. So Ella Liang and Hope Harnety, they're going to be in the top 4. So that's where you want to be, just to make life a little bit easier as you move forward into things like quarterfinals and so forth. As the day goes on, you want to try and hold that high seed as long as you can. Dillon dives down, moving nicely as she enters the back straight here. Goes through the first 100, 6th fastest time at the moment, so Ella Liang's time, that's going to be fine. Dillon stops the clock, 4th fastest so far, 12.218, with just 1 rider to come. And what a rider it is too. Heat 11, rider 132. Please welcome Lilia Tatarinov from New South Wales. So Lily Tatarinov had a tremendously successful Oceania Championships just a week or so ago in New Zealand. Multiple time Australian champion in the junior ranks. Certainly one of the bright sparks, one of the up-and-coming riders that the Australian cycling team will be looking forward to this one, moving into the elite ranks as Lily Tatarinov goes through, moving very quickly indeed as she goes through the 200 and heads down the back straight. Strong riding here from Lily Tatarinov, goes through the 100, fastest time so far. This will be the fastest time of the day, just hangs on to it up the home straight. 11.418, nearly half a second clear of the rest of the field. Well done, Lily Tatarinov. Goes to number 1, just over 63 kilometres an hour there. So we move straight into the elite women's sprint qualifying now. 12 riders to qualify here. First rider out on track, coming up to get 2 laps to go. This is Zoe Clayton from Western Australia. We saw some great racing from our women's sprinters yesterday in the Keirin Championship, taken out by Alessia McCaig. Christina Clonan was up into second. Selena Ho got the bronze medal. Clayton into the home straight, stops the clock, first time of the day, 12.67 for Zoe Clayton. And we welcome her teammate, also from Western Australia. This is Indiana Lysart. So Indy Lysart will get 2 to go as she goes through this time. Good numbers from the WA team for the women's sprint group. 4 riders in all in the Keirin last night. One of them made the Keirin final. Christine Perkins ran 5th in the Keirin final. So good to see good depth in numbers coming from a number of our states here as Indy Lysart goes in to the 200-metre line now, looking to try and set the fastest time. She's seen a teammate out there already. She's fastest time through the first 100 here for Indy. Up the home straight. Where can she stop the clock? Inside 12, just outside. 12.235 for the West Aussie. As we welcome into the home straight the Victorian rider. This is Megan Reid. So Megan Reid, top of the banking as she comes into the home straight. She'll get 2 to go this time as she goes through. For those of you who might not have seen too much track cycling before, I can guarantee you it takes a fair bit of skill and nerve to ride that close to the fence at a slow pace for these sprinters. If you want to be a track sprinter in cycling, it's somewhat different to that of athletics. This one you have to have no fear to start with. It's not just about speed and strength. No fear has to be at the top of the list. Megan Reid dives in nicely into the 200. Can she put herself to the top of the leaderboard? Nice and strong down the back straight at the moment as she goes through the first 100. Fastest so far by about 0.2 compared to Indy Lysart. Can she hold on to it? She can indeed. 11.730 for Megan Reid. She'll put herself on top spot for now, into the hot seat, as we welcome another one of our West Australian riders. This is Jackie Knock in the home straight. 3 to go. So Jackie Knock, West Australian, rider number 73. She'll come around this time and get 2 laps to go. Has the opportunity in Western Australia to be coached by Shane Perkins, former Keirin world champion and team sprint world champion, Commonwealth Games champion, Olympic medalist. So we've certainly got the resources of coaching staff in Western Australia at the moment. Shane Perkins on the sprint side of things, Rowan White, Teams Pursuit world champion on the endurance side of things. So a lot of opportunity for the WA riders to learn from the best. Knock goes through. Fastest time this far. Where can she finish it off? Can she hang on to it? Just dropped off a little bit in the home straight. Goes to number 2. Nothing between the top 2 though. Megan Reid, the Victorian, 11.730. Jackie Knock, 11.762. As we welcome the next of our Victorian riders, just heading down the back straight. This is Rider number 66, our 5th rider out on track. This is Ning Chen from Victoria. She'll get the bell this time round. Ning Chen winding things up as she comes into the home straight this time. Oh, a little bit of a wobble of that front disc wheel as she got to the 200. She was still out of the saddle in the banking. Goes through, slowed her down a little bit on the approach to the 200. Let's see how strong she is up the home straight. Chen goes across, third fastest time, 12.007. With the speed wobble as she went through the 200, bit unfortunate. Another one of our New South Wales young guns, Tyler Puchika. Our rider out on track now, rider number 48. So the fastest time in our elite women so far, 11.730, Megan Reid. Now we've got Tyler Puchika out on track. Top under 17 at national level, now up into the under 19 ranks. Building up pace very nicely, very smooth at the top of the track here, Tyler. Out of the saddle now. Under 17s, under 19s, now in the elites. Puchika, one of those riders you'd really want to spend some time on as the coaching staff. Got a lot of potential, this rider. Tyler comes into the home straight. Where will she stop the clock? Third fastest, 11.93. Didn't quite go in as quick as the others, but certainly held on to the pace in the home straight. We welcome rider number 7, rider number 63, but rider 7 in the list here, the Tasmanian. This is Lauren Perry, ladies and gentlemen. Great to see Lauren on the track, former World Junior Pursuit Champion. She's trying the idea of transitioning from a well-known endurance rider into the sprint side of things. She's seen the likes of Christina Clonan be very successful doing the same, so Lauren Perry's decided that she's going to give this a try as well. First time at Nationals, concentrating on the sprint events. Superb scratch race rider, excellent handicap rider at the Christmas carnivals in Tasmania. Like most Tasmanian track cyclists, just has that ability to be on the right wheel at the right time. And just when you think everyone's boxed in and can't get out, you'll suddenly see the handlebars flash through the gap. Lauren Perry out of the saddle. It'll be a strong ride, this one. Let's see what Lauren can do as she heads down the back straight, trying to get everything out of the bike she can here. Third fastest at the moment for Lauren. She won't slow down too much in the home straight. Can she improve? Goes across 11.811. Third fastest for Lauren at this stage. As we welcome the next of our Queenslanders into the home straight. And this is Emma Stevens from Queensland. Emma Stevens building up pace nicely as she comes into the home straight. Nice and solid on the bike, very smooth through the 200 here. Emma Stevens moving nicely down the back straight. We'll have a look at the 100 time as she goes through. Fastest one at the moment. Going to hang on to it, try and do the best time she can here. Emma Stevens stops the clock, 11.424. Fastest time so far for Emma. Great qualifying ride. Our next Queenslander out on track, rider number 54 is Jackie Mengler-Moore. She comes down the home straight now. Didn't see Jackie in the Kieran last night, saving the legs for the sprint rounds today. So I expect to see a nice fast time here from Jackie, building up pace nice and early here on the Anna Meares Velodrome. Home track for Jackie, knows exactly what to do out there. Goes through very smooth. Got the little square box underneath the saddle, the power meter to give her all her data. Goes through, fastest time through the 100. How strong is she up the home straight? Jackie goes across the line. Fastest time, 11.074. Just missing the magic 11-second mark, but great ride there from Jackie. The next rider, bronze medal last night in the Kieran Championship, representing New South Wales. This is Selena Ho. Selena Ho had the pleasure of watching her race for a number of years at the Sydney Christmas Carnivals. Seen her develop as a very, very good sprinter in the Kierans, time trial as well, and also in the sprint competition. Very successful also in the team sprint at national level. Great family of support as well behind Selena, so nice to see her get a medal last night as she builds up pace. Going very nicely at the top of the banking. Selena Ho, one of the Sydney favourites. Out of the saddle, really moving nicely. Let's see where she can get to here. She'll be hoping for very low 11s if she can. She's going to go through the first 100. Third fastest at the moment, trying to hope for around 11.3, 11.4 if she can do it. Hits the line, 11.500. Perfectly done. Selena Ho goes to number 3. As we welcome the next of our New South Wales riders, just going across the start-finish line now. This is Kalinda Robinson. Made the final of the Kieran last night, so she's right on form as well. So Robinson comes through. 16 riders in all. All the riders will qualify into round 1, and then it will be sudden death after that to make the quarterfinals here. But we will see all of these riders out on track again. A great initiative at the National Championships is to have everyone ride a second time just for their placing. Give a lot more experience to the riders as Robinson goes through the 200 now. Smooth into the back straight. We've seen a great time of Jackie Mengler-Moore. What's Kalinda Robinson going to finish off with here? She goes to the line, 4th fastest, 11.530. Welcome our next rider out onto the track representing Western Australia. This is Christine Perkins, ladies and gentlemen. Christine made the final of the Kieran Championship last night, ended up running 5th in the Kieran Championship. For those of you who know your history of cycling, Christine is the little sister of dual Olympic champion Ryan Bailey, who lives here in Queensland, and she's married to Shane Perkins, world Kieran champion. To give you an idea of how impressive Christine's ride was last night, to run 5th and make the final of the Keirin. Christine last raced at this sort of level back in 2007, where she took the bronze medal at the World Championships with Anna Meares in the team sprint. So really get behind Christine Perkins when she comes through, because she is showing us all that age does not stop you. Goes through beautifully smooth through the 200. Perkins down the back straight. Pocket rocket still even now. Second fastest so far for Christine Perkins. This is a solid ride. Perkins will stop the clock. 11.442. Third fastest on the day so far. So Mengler-Moore 11.07. Then Emma Stevens 11.42. Perkins 11.44. Selena Ho 11.5. Kalinda Robinson 11.53. They're the top 5 so far. So it's quite congested at the top of the board. Times are very close together, except for the time of Jackie Mengler-Moore. She's a little bit out in front of everybody. Our next Queenslander just rolling out of the back straight now. Rider number 57 from Queensland. This is Sophie Watts. Two laps to go for Sophie as she comes through this time. Building up pace nicely. Top of the banking. Beautifully fast track, this Anna Meares Velodrome. We saw competition records and national records broken yesterday. Sophie Watts moving nicely down the back straight. Where can she position herself in the qualifying here today? She goes through second fastest time through 100. Got to be able to hang on to it in the last 100 though. She'll stop the clock. Second fastest time 11.267. Nice ride there from Sophie, just under 64 kilometres an hour. Very nice indeed. Our next rider in the home straight now from New South Wales. This is Thomason Clark. And following on from Thomason, we'll have Alessia McCaig and Christina Clonan. Two to go for Clark as she comes into the home straight now. Building up speed very nicely indeed. Thomason Clark really moving. Started her sprint very early, so she's going to hit the 200 metres with all guns blazing down the back straight. Went in a lot quicker than some of the other riders. She's gone through third. Quickest time, however, through the first 100. She's got to hang on to it now. She hits the line. Still the third fastest time, 11.282. Nice time. Puts her in the right part of the field for now. It's now time to welcome the Victorian into the home straight, the new Keirin champion of Australia, ladies and gentlemen, Alessia McCaig. She had a great ride at Nations Cup, taking one of the rounds in the Keirin Championship. She's backed it up here, taking the gold medal and the jersey home last night in the elite women's at Keirin. Such an illustrious list of winners of that competition, so nice to have your name added to that honour roll. McCaig concentrating very nicely at top of the banking. Just getting out of the saddle, wants to make sure she's well and truly up on top of that big gear, using the downhill run of the back straight banking just to give it a little bit more. Big wind up here from Alessia McCaig, looking for the fastest time here so far this morning. Can she get under 11 seconds down the back straight? Alessia McCaig looking very smooth. Fastest time through the first 100. Where's she going to stop the clock? Alessia McCaig stops the clock. 11.089, second fastest, just behind the time of Jackie Mengler-Moore. We now welcome the defending champion into the home straight, ladies and gentlemen, from Queensland, Christina Clonan. So McCaig goes to number 2. Jackie Mengler-Moore, 11.07. McCaig, 11.08. Nothing between them. McCaig was faster over the first 100, just fell off the pace just ever so slightly in the last 100 metres, but she did win the Kieran last night, so not going to wake up perfect every day, but we've got a big day of sprinting to come for these riders. I don't see it as a problem at all for Alessia McCaig. We haven't seen anyone underneath 11 seconds yet. If anyone's capable, it's this lady out on track right now. We've seen her right around the 10.6 mark, really moving nicely here. Christina Clonan, world's medalist in the 500 metre time trial, beautifully fast down the back straight now. We'll have a look at the 100 metre split. She's definitely going to be leading at the moment. Christina Clonan about to go under 11 seconds here and go top of the leaderboard. 10.814 for the Queenslander. Puts herself a little bit far out in front of the rest for now. We'll get ready to move on to our next event. This event is supported by the Queensland Government through Tourism and Events Queensland and features on its It's Live in Queensland events calendar. If you want to continue your Brisbane experience after the competition, just go on to the Let Visit Brisbane Be Your Guide and discover the city's best attraction, tours, dining, bars and shopping. So lots to look forward to in the coming month, especially for cycling in Brisbane. So we move on now to the first round of the Junior Women 19s sprints. And of course, the fastest qualifier in that one was Lilia Tatarinov. She gets a bye in round number 1. She goes straight through to the quarterfinal. So we've got 5 match race heats to go. We welcome the first of those now up onto the track. Representing New South Wales, we welcome Sonia Vitech. And representing Queensland, we welcome Ella Liang. The winner will go straight through to the quarterfinals. The loser will actually get the opportunity to come back through the repechage here today. Vetic leads the way from Liang. Riders just have to go at a walking pace in that first half lap. Once they get past the pursuit line, if they want to try and manoeuvre themselves into second position, the front rider can do so and slow the pace down. As you can see, Sonia doing so. Ella Liange right up on the wheel though, so not a lot of room to move there. Still moving at a nice walking pace here at the moment. It's just a battle of nerve, this first lap of the sprint competition here. New South Wales versus Queensland. Sonia has made the decision, we're going to go at my pace, because there's really no way that Ella could get round her there. She can't go underneath her, can't go on the blue band. And with the banking up on the outside, not going quick enough to really move forward. Ella now decides she wants to lead. Enough of this messing around. Riders greeting each other here on the Anna Meares Velodrome, very close together as they go round through the 200. Quite a contest for an early round. The faster qualifier against the slowest qualifier, so they're getting quite involved with each other. So the commissaires will be having a real good look at this one. Now Ella decides on the faster qualifier, I'll get on with it. Has a look over the wrong shoulder there, almost misses where Sonia was going to come from, but gives her plenty of room. Now she goes down the back straight, well underway, no hassle whatsoever. Has a bit of a look over the shoulder, and most coaches will see that and play, please don't look over your shoulder until it's all done. But she does that comfortably, Ella Liange. She'll go through to the quarterfinals, and Sonia gets an opportunity to come back through the repechage. Move on to our next heat here. We welcome Hope Harnety from Victoria up against Sarah Berger from the ACT. Harnety, the third fastest qualifier here this morning. Quite warm conditions here at the Anna Meares Velodrome. So we saw this yesterday. It's going to be like this for most days, where the riders warm up, warm down. So they really got to pay attention to how much fluid intake they're taking on these first couple of days of a 5-day contest. Before you know it, you're dehydrated and everything just starts to go a little bit slower for you. So a lot going into this championship for the riders and their preparation and looking after themselves as Harnety leaves through. 2 laps to go, just at the bottom of the track. And looks like Hope is quite happy just to dictate terms here. She knows she's the faster rider here. The idea, get yourself through nice and easy when you're the quicker qualifier. Try and save your legs as much as you can, because you're going to be sprinting all day. These riders are going to be sprinting throughout the day, so it's a long contest. No pace on at the moment as they go through with 1 to go. Hope Harnety feels as though she's got this one covered, and she'll move when she needs to. Sarah Berger laying off now down the back straight, not taking part in the sprint at all. So I heard the bell. I think you all heard the bell. And Hope Harnady's going to come into the home straight and take that ride. Uncontested. Well, put your hands together for Hope Harnedy. She goes through the next round. I'd also like you to put your hands together for Sarah Berger, because the reason she didn't contest that is she has become unwell here this morning. I've just been told by the commissaires. So put your hands together for the ACT rider, because she had to come to the line in order to be able to line up tomorrow if she's feeling better tomorrow. So hats off to Sarah. From where we were standing before we knew that information, it looked like it was uncontested. But well done to Sarah, well done to Hope, and we hope to see Sarah back out on track tomorrow and feeling better. So we move forward to our next ride. And this is Natasha Sitsky from the ACT, Victoria Smith from Queensland. Very grateful indeed to have been able to give Karen O'Callaghan, our Chief Commissaire, just giving me that information about our rider Sarah Berger. Let's hope she's okay for tomorrow. We wish her all the best. It definitely looked like something wasn't quite right in that round as she just rode around the track. So we look forward to seeing her out on track tomorrow. We've got 3 more days of racing to come. But now heading down the back straight with a lap and a half to go, we have Victoria Smith from Queensland leading Natasha Sitsky. High up on the track, now having a look over the shoulder to see where her opponent is. Sitsky dives down, gets into the metre line, but plenty of room there from Victoria Smith as they head down the back straight this time. Sitsky was the faster qualifier, but she's going to have to get up round the hip here if she can, because the Queenslander is strong from the front here. She goes through, takes that one. Good riding there from Victoria Smith. Faster qualifier on paper was the ACT rider, but it was very close in the qualifying. Nothing between each rider, except for our top 2, who seem to be a little bit out in front. But Victoria Smith goes through to the quarterfinals. Natasha Sitsky will get another opportunity. She'll be able to go through, try and come back through the repechage heats. As now we have an all New South Wales affair coming out onto the track. Rider 133 with the black helmet there is Maya Dillon, and her opponent, rider 134, is Phoenix Julian. So Maya Dillon's drawn the front spot. She'll lead away on this one. The winner through to the quarterfinals. This one, 5th versus 8. Not too much between these two at all. Not even a click of the fingers really in the qualifying. So expect to see a very close contest between 2 New South Wales riders who know each other very well indeed. bottom of the track as they come through to the home straight this time. Maya Dillon just keeping an eye on where her teammate is, Phoenix Julian. Quite happy just to follow on. Both riders, virtually the same attire, both on Dolan bikes, 5-spoke front wheels, same manufacturer, rear discs as well. New South Wales team always turned out very nicely at the National Championships. Dillon leads with a lap and a half to go. Not a lot of pace on at the front, hasn't changed much since they got onto the track, but she's covering the bottom of the track, so it's going to be difficult for Julian to be able to gain any speed and run at her here, because Dillon is keeping a good eye on her. And now it's basically a standing start, a rolling start in the home straight as Dillon gets out of the saddle and accelerates. Julian trying to go with it, but Dillon just starting to go away from her a little bit. Now they'll come through the bend. Can Phoenix get up to a side? No, she can't. Maya Dillon just spends the whole last part of the bend and up the home straight looking back to see where her opponent was. 13.6, so not the fastest sprint in the world, very tactical one there, but Maya will be quite happy with that one. Goes through to the quarterfinals, and Phoenix will get to fight at least one more time in the repechage to try and find her way into the quarterfinals here today. We've got one more heat of round one for our junior women's sprint. Our riders just getting themselves ready, and this is the 6th fastest qualifier against the 7th fastest qualifier. As we welcome them up onto the track now. Well, 6th fastest qualifier representing Queensland, this is Olivia Wright. And representing Victoria, it is Hayley Jack. So a little bit more opportunity for our junior women's sprinters here with the odd number in qualifying. Normally round one would be a sudden death situation, but there is the opportunity to come back through the repechage here. The repechage will be sudden death though, and then it's on to the quarterfinals with the best of 3 at national championships. So plenty of racing. Olivia Wright, the Queenslander, leads from the bottom of the track. Hayley Jack was hoping to force her up the track a little bit. Olivia Wright wasn't going to have any of it. Quite happy just to lead at the base of the track at the moment. We're coming to the home straight. Hayley Jack gaining height this time, trying to dictate terms from second wheel. Just trying to move Olivia Wright up the track a little bit. She's not interested in it at the moment though. Now they start to build the pace. And Wright, no messing around, going to go from the front here. Going quite early. Hayley Jack in the slipstream, right up on the wheel, glued to it, needs to lay off and try and run at her if she can down the back straight. Now they get underway. Good riding here from the Victorian. This is what she was trying to do, just give herself a little bit of room, use the slipstream, comfortable in the end. And Hayley Jack reverses the qualifying times. She goes straight through into the quarterfinals. Olivia Wright we'll see in the repechage. So we go back straight into our elite women's sprint round number 1. And welcome the defending champion from Queensland. Please welcome Christina Clonan, and her opponent from Western Australia is Zoe Clayton. And of course, when we talk about the calibre of coaches we have on the track centre, we welcome Shane Perkins, the WA coach, and Carly McCulloch, our Queensland coach, two former world champions, representatives of Australia at the Olympics, Commonwealth Games and World Championships. It's no wonder why our sprinting stocks are going so well in this country with that sort of calibre of rider becoming coaches. And Zoe Clayton leads away. So very simple with round one of the sprint. Fastest against slowest from the qualifying times. No second chance in the elite women's sprint. You win, you go through to the next round, you lose, and you're out of the competition. You will get the opportunity to sprint for a place. So basically, 15 will ride 16, just to give our riders a little bit more chance. Zoe Clayton's going to take on the sprint champion of Australia here and make sure she knows she's been in a race and coming to the home straight. Zoe Clayton, very good handicap rider, won the Westrel Wheel Race in Western Australia several times. But Christina Clonan, one of the best sprinters in the world, goes up round the outside very comfortably indeed. And Christina Clonan, not going to make any mistakes here, takes herself through to the next round. And we'll see Zoe Clayton in another ride a little bit later on. Move on to our next heat. We'll welcome onto the track from Queensland, Jackie Mengler-Moore. Her opponent is Indiana Lysart from Western Australia. Jackie Mengler-Moore leads away. 11.07 in qualifying. Got herself up into second spot. So she's moving nicely, Jackie, no doubt about that. Didn't ride the Kieran last night, so she's saved the legs for the sprint competition. Indy Lysart, part of the sprint program that was started a couple of years ago in this fast track program, bringing riders from other sports into the sport of cycling, and she's done quite well with it. Been state champion, had some good results at national championships, but the quality this year, the Olympic year, really is sensational from our sprint group. As Jackie Mengler-Moore, not messing around at all in this one, has a look over the shoulder just to see where Indy is. Jackie Mengler-Moore just wants to get this ride done, get herself up into the next round. And she does so quite comfortably in the end. So Jackie Mengler-Moore, she'll go through 12.39. So 1.3 sort of seconds behind her fastest time. So she's got plenty in the tank. A good ride there from the Queenslander for the first ride in the match sprinting. Our next heat about to come out onto the line now. This will be our third fastest qualifier and the winner of last night's Keirin Championship. From Victoria is Alessia McCaig, and her opponent, also from Victoria, is Ning Chen. Alessia McCaig, rider number 67 with the black bike and red stickers, white shoes, just to show the difference between the two riders out on track. So McCaig with the white shoes, Chen with the black shoes as they roll away. Great piece of riding by Alessia McCaig last night in the Keirin Championship. She drew number 3 out of the draw on the line, which put her onto the wheel of Christina Clonan. Dream opportunity to have a draw like that. And of course, Alessia McCaig took full advantage of it. Followed Christina Clonan's wheel, didn't give it up to anybody, waited for her to move, and used the slipstream to her advantage in the final 100 metres of the Keirin last night, and showing that she's still got some great form after having a great Nations Cup as well. Running around to the Keirin at the Nations Cup. Not a lot of pace on as they go through with one lap to go. Alessia McCaig feels as though she's got the better of her teammate here, just keeping her high, keeping her up on the hip. They're both out of the saddle, but not giving any opportunity for an acceleration there. Alessia McCaig to her opponent. Keeps her where she wants her to be, up on the hip. Alessia McCaig, she'll go through to the next round quite comfortably. We'll see Ning Chen in the repechage. Please welcome out onto the track from New South Wales. This is Tyler Puchika. And her opponent from Queensland, Sophie Watts, the 4th fastest qualifier here this morning. So Tyler just moved up into the elite ranks recently. Great results as a junior in the junior competition, 17s and 19s. A great character too, Tyler Puchika. She leads down the back straight in front of Sophie Watts. Superb qualifying ride by Sophie this morning. It's exactly what you want to do when you're qualifying ride at national championships. You just want to get it right. You want to get the line right, get the gear right, and just wake up ready to go on the day. Finds herself qualifying in 4th place. Superb situation for her to be in as the sprint rounds move forward, if she can keep hold of her seed. And Tyler Puchika, she's a very handy sprinter. It's always quite daunting for the young riders to move up into the elite category. Sometimes it takes a couple of years for them to find their feet. But if they persist and persevere, we usually get some good results from them. Tyler Puchika leads through this time. And Sophie Watts doesn't want to mess around with tactics here. She wants to take her on, but have a look at the ride for Puchika, trying to keep her high up on the track. But Sophie Watts just a little bit too strong, a little bit too quick up around the outside. Tyler had the right idea, but Sophie Watts saw it coming, and she will go through to the next round. And we'll see Tyler in the repechage. So our next heat is about to come out onto the track, 5 versus 12. This is going to be Thomas and Clark from New South Wales. And her opponent from Tasmania will be Lauren Perry. Interesting to see how this one goes. Lauren Perry, very, very efficient bike rider in the wheel races and scratch races. Very good sprint finish on it. Possibly didn't qualify as quickly as she wanted to earlier, but now it's rider against rider. We'll see how it changes. So Perry leads away. Can that fantastic sprint finish that we see with Lauren Perry in scratch races, points races and handicap races over the Christmas carnivals in Tasmania, she's so successful. Can she make that translate into the sprint rounds here? The acceleration is the key with the sprinters, and over that first 50 metres, 50 to 75 metres. So somebody like Perry probably will be thinking she'll need to build it up a bit quicker. And Thomas and Clark goes to the front now as they head down the back straight, just taking control of things, forcing Perry to think of another idea here. And Perry's idea is, I've just got to go flat out and try and win this one. Thomas and Clark doing a good job from the front. Perry started to make her sprint in the home straight, trying to force Clark to move early. She did that. Clark has a look over the shoulder, and all she sees is Lauren Perry glued to her back wheel as they come to the home straight. Clark's going to be too fast and too strong in this one, though. She'll go through to the next ride. We will see Lauren Perry again in the repechage for a chance to fight back into this competition. But nice riding there from Thomas and Clark. She would have known the pedigree of Lauren Perry, and she takes care of it. Our next heat of sprinting, 6 versus 11 here. Welcome the West Australian back onto the track. This is Jackie Knock, and her opponent representing Queensland is Emma Stevens. So Jackie Knock leads away this time. She's drawn the first position. Emma Stevens nice and quick in qualifying. Nice advantage to have the home track here for the Queenslanders. Beautiful track, this one, very fast indeed. We saw competition records broken yesterday in the junior men's sprint and also the elite men's sprint. And of course we saw the Australian record, all-comers record, broken in the individual pursuit in the 19s. And then the competition record in the elites was also broken by Connor Lay when he won his 5th individual pursuit championship in a row. Not a lot of pace on as they come into the home straight. Jackie Knock just dictating terms here to Emma Stevens. Emma Stevens says, that's all well and good. I'll just go to the front and start leading this one. I've got a day of sprinting to think about. I'll let you chase me as she goes down the back straight. Lap and a half to go now. Bottom of the track, just building pace nicely here, Emma Stevens. She's got it all in hand at the moment. Jackie Knock a little bit far back as they come up to 1 lap to go now. Possibly just giving a few too many bike lengths away as they head down the back straight. Now they get underway. Now it starts to change. Emma Stevens leads as they go into the bend. Jackie Knock looked so impressive as she ran to the back wheel, but she wasn't able to get up around the outside. For a second then, you thought Jackie Knock was using the slipstream beautifully, but Emma Stevens just a little bit too strong through the bend, and she'll go through to the next round. We'll see Jackie Knock come back through the repechage. So our next heat coming out onto the track now. We welcome Megan Reid from Victoria. Megan Reid, incidentally, is the national sprint champion in the Masters 1 division and the national record holder in that division. And her opponent is from Western Australia. This is Christine Perkins. So Megan Reid's drawn the front position here. National Masters sprint champion in Masters 1, so she knows what she's doing. National record holder as well. Big hello to a very good old mate of mine, Ian Marr. Those of you who have seen a lot of racing in Victoria will know Ian's voice. One of the best commentators going around, a very good mate of mine, sending me through little tidbits of the Victorian cyclists, and much appreciated. I get to find out more, and of course everyone in the listening to the show and also watching in the grandstand can find out too. Megan Reid also coming from a background of powerlifting, just what you need for sprinting. Christine Perkins spends a lot of time in the gym, runs her own personal fitness company. She was the faster qualifier as they come into the home straight this time. Perkins is the first to move and takes front spot. Oh, a little bit of a coming together. Perkins didn't come up. This is Megan Reid, just thought she was going to keep moving down and she didn't. So through the first 100, Perkins, it's just unsettled Megan, just riding into the back of Perkins there. But Perkins will go through to the next round. Megan Reid will see in the repechage, one would think. Just a coming together there, as you could see. Christine Perkins made the move and just held her line. Megan Reid thought she was going to continue that line down to the bottom of the track. Just clipped the back of her. That's racing, but Christine Perkins comfortably through to the next one. Megan Reid, the National Masters champion. We'll see her in the repechage. One more heat to go. This will be a good one. 8 versus 9. This will be Kalinda Robinson, rider number 49, up against Selena Ho, rider number 47. So Kalinda Robinson will lead away, rider 49, with the longer white socks here for the difference between the two from the same state. And Selena Ho, bronze medalist last night in the Kirin Championship. So nice start to her 5 days of racing here. Selena Ho, the faster of the two qualifiers, but absolutely nothing between the two of them. So just sticking to the bottom of the track. They'll come through this time with 2 laps to go. Selena Ho just gains a little bit of height just to see if she can force Robinson to move off the bottom of the track, which gives Selena Ho an extra opportunity to go either side of her. That's what she'll be trying to do, make Kalinda Robinson think about it. But Robinson, she'll have raced against Selena Ho many, many times, and she's got the track covered at the moment, moving nicely. They come up to get 1 lap to go now. Robinson, everything in hand at the moment. Now they dive down to the bottom of the track and they're underway as they hit the back straight. And a great drag race between these two. Selena Ho up round the outside, gets past the hip, but Kalinda Robinson fighting back underneath. This is a good sprint, but Selena Ho had the run, was a little bit too strong in the end, holds onto her seed there very nicely. So we'll see Kalinda Robinson have to come back through the repechage as Selena goes through to the next round. So now we move on to our Junior Women 19s sprint repechage. There's 2 heats in all. The winner will go through to the quarterfinals. We welcome our first rider up onto the track from the ACT. This is Natasha Sitsky. And her opponent in this one from Queensland will be Olivia Wright. So Natasha Sitsky leads away in front of Olivia Wright. So repechage a little bit different this year at Nationals. Good to see the repechage in place. First rider will go through to the quarterfinals and join the rest who have got there with one ride. Just an extra opportunity for these riders due to the numbers being the way they are. Of course, Lily Tatarinov, she was our fastest qualifier here this morning. She's had a bye in the round one. So when she gets to the quarterfinals, she'll go up against somebody who's already ridden 3 times today with a qualifier, round one, then the repechage. So it's a big advantage to be able to qualify at the top of the score sheet. Olivia Wright now leads into the back straight. The junior women's race is tending to stay down the bottom of the track a little bit here. It makes it very difficult to be able to get the run on if you're in second wheel. Up round the outside now. Natasha Sitsky trying to build up some pace here. Good riding here from Sitsky. She's done the right thing, trying to use the banking to build up pace. Now, has she been able to do enough down the back straight? She'll get the run of the banking for now, but she's still got to go twice as far as the Queenslander. Good contest. Can she get anything more out of the bend here? Sitsky, they'll go to the line. Olivia Wright held position nicely, rode her off on the hip. Not a lot between those two. Came down to position on the track in the end, and Olivia Wright will go through to the quarterfinals here on the Anna Meares Velodrome. Move on to the last of our repechages here for our junior women's 19 division. And welcome 2 New South Wales riders onto the track. Rider 134 is Phoenix Julian, and rider 135 is Sonia Vetic. Phoenix with the black helmet, Sonia with the white helmet to show the difference as they're both from the same state. Won't be too much between these two speed-wise, so expect another close contest as we saw in the previous repechage. Nothing between those two. Expect the same in this one. Once again, we see the tactics employed very similar to the races before, just staying down the base of the track, not interested in using the banking. So as the second rider gets to a point of needing to try and force the lead rider up the track a little bit, give them another opportunity to try and go round, because the front rider, if they just stay down the bottom of the track, there's only one option. For the following rider, they've got to go up the track before they can try and move forward. As you can see now, Sonja Vetic moves up high, gaining height nicely. I mean, she can use the banking to her full effect and get on top of the gear. That's where the lead rider's got to do it from the front. Now they're underway with 1 lap to go. Didn't make it a secret though, as Phoenix Julian goes down the back straight, underway. A little bit close to jammed up on the wheel here. Sonja Vetic hasn't got the run at the wheel, hasn't got that slipstream to slide out of, and it's going to be a strong ride from the front from Phoenix Julian. She'll take that one and she'll go through to the quarterfinals. Nice piece of riding. There's no place like Queensland when it comes to combining Australia's headline events with the most incredible destinations. From food and wine, festivals, art, culture and music, to blockbuster sport and iconic endurance races, Queensland is home to a world-class calendar of events. And one of those next events now, we move into the Junior Women's 19 individual pursuit qualifying. We've got 5 heats, 10 riders in all. The top 2 will go to the gold medal final. 3rd and 4th fastest, they will go through to the bronze medal ride. We welcome our first heat out onto the line. In the back straight, we welcome from New South Wales, Anna Dubier. In the home straight from South Australia, we welcome Madeleine Wasserback. So both riders away in the first heat of the Junior Women 19's individual pursuit qualifying. Top 2 times, they'll meet in the final for gold and silver. 3rd and 4th fastest times will ride for the bronze medal. 5 heats in all for our enduros here. Both riders getting away nicely. Over 2,000 metres, the junior women's 19s. Not a lot between these two. Wasabach just with the edge at the moment. Of course, it's a tough gig being the first heat in a qualifying ride, because it just means that everyone else can have a gauge of what time they're going to need to do to try and move forward if they can. Doesn't really change too much, because the next 2 or 3 heats after this, everyone's just going to go absolutely flat out. It's not until you get to the second to last heat or the last heat where 1 or 2 riders can judge their performance a little bit more. We saw that yesterday in the elite men's competition. Connor Lay was trailing that time of James Moriarty in the qualifying for about 15 laps of the 16, and then did just enough to make sure he had the home straight win, home straight start for the final. And then in the final, he did the same thing. He trailed for most of the way against James Moriarty, and then just closed the gap right in the last lap and a half to take his 5th championship in a row. So there are a little bit of tactics in individual pursuiting. These riders come back into the home straight. They'll get the bell this time. Moving quite nicely. South Australian just with the lead at the moment. Can Anna Meares just go that little bit quicker on the last lap? This is trailing the South Australian Wasabach as she comes into the home straight. Madeline is going to finish off here, just by judging where the coach is standing. Nice time, 2:29 for her, 2:30 for Anna Meares, the first 2 times up on the board. We welcome out onto the track now, heat number 2 in the back straight. Representing South Australia, we have Ava Schmidtke, and in the home straight, representing New South Wales, we have Caitlin Rose. 2:29.064 the time to beat so far. The South Australian Madeline Wasabach, Anna Meares 2:30.344 in the second spot for now. Clean start for both riders out of the starting gate. We'll get to have a look at how they are moving against the timing schedules. And it starts to come up on to the scoreboard here. New South Wales rider and the South Australian. A little bit slower starts than our first heat over that first lap. Nothing really to worry about over that first sort of 500 metres. Some riders get a little bit worked up in the national championships and tend to go out a little bit too hard. And it really does come back and bite you over the second kilometre if you go out too fast in the first kilometre. These two riders settling in nicely at the moment. They're travelling 3rd and 4th in the times. Start to get a bit more of an idea of how they're really going as they get closer to the kilometre. Ava Schmidtke in 3rd at the moment, just trailing the time of the first heat ever so slightly. Caitlin Rose a little bit off the pace at the moment. There's Schmidtke, the South Australian, moving nicely, heading towards the back straight now. Coach not moving off the line too much. Still the third fastest time out there at the moment. Caitlin, New South Wales rider, travelling in fourth. But Ava Schmidtke definitely got the better of this heat at the moment. There's no doubt about that. We'll see if she can lift over this next few laps. She's just been asked for a little bit more from the coach here in the back straight, Ava Schmidtke. It's a warm day here in Queensland. Muggy conditions inside the track. If you're joining us on AusCycling YouTube, it's a typical Queensland summer's day, very warm and quite muggy. South Australian being begged for a little bit more. Now she's starting to move, Ava Schmidtke. She moves up to the second spot. Schmidtke into the home straight with a lap and a half to go here. Can she put herself in the top spot? So important with only 5 heats. Try and put the pressure on the rest. She comes down the back straight now, gets the bell. Can she sprint home and get herself into the number 1 spot? She's in the number 2 spot, and there's nothing between 1 and 2 at the moment. Ava Schmidtke fighting on, just readjusting herself in the saddle, so it's starting to really hurt here. The coach just yelling at her down the back straight. Here we go, second fastest, 2:29.111. Caitlin Rose will finish 2:35.508. So a good ride there from both riders. Ava Schmidtke will go to number 2 for now. Heat number 3 coming out onto the track now. In the back straight, we welcome from New South Wales, this is Charlotte Lovett. And also from New South Wales in the home straight, we have Hayley Dell. Fastest time so far. The two South Australians up the top. Madeline Wasserback with a 2:29.064. Her teammate, Ava Schmidtke, 2:29.111. So nothing between the two South Australians so far. 5 heats in all. This is the 3rd heat about to get underway. So the 2 New South Wales riders away cleanly from the starting gate. 2:29 the time to beat. This is where the riders will well and truly start to look at that time. The coaches will have judged what they can do normally and judge the conditions as well. As Hayley Dell's out to a very fast start here as she comes into the home straight. Charlotte Lovett moving nicely as well. So Hayley Dell, second fastest time at the moment. Charlotte Lovett, a little bit of work to do, trailing down there in the 5th spot at the moment as she comes through. White disc wheels in. The original Campagnolo Ghibli wheels. Great to see them on the track. Hayley Dell, third place at the moment. She'll head down the back straight. There's 4.5 laps to go. We'll get a good idea of how they're travelling as they get 4 to go this time. Wants to be around the 1:15-ish sort of mark. Try and keep herself right in the mix here. Goes through 1:16.01. A little bit of work to do over the final kilometre here. Get herself up into the top spot. She's got to sort of negative split that by 3.5, 4 seconds. She comes into the home straight. She's going to get to see her teammate now. She's got that little bit more of a carrot to chase now. She's falling off the pace ever so slightly, dropping back to 4th place at the moment. Goes to show just how good a rides the 2 South Australians have done so far to date. The 2 New South Wales riders. Tough work out there, individual pursuing. Hayley Dell, she's still in 4th place as they head towards the back straight this time, chasing Charlotte Lovett down if she can. 2 laps to go for Hayley Dell. She'll come into the home straight, still trying to go out and get her opponent. Bell goes. Still 4th place at the moment. She'll go round her opponent down the back straight, get a slight run off the banking, try and just get a little bit more out of herself. We'll look at the clock. We're going 27. It's going to fall the other side of the 30 mark as she goes across the line. 2:30.568 for Hayley Dell. 4th place for the moment. And Charlotte Lovett just with a 1/4 of a lap to go. And she'll finish off in the back straight with a time of 2:42.240 for these junior women. So our second to last heat now coming out onto the track. We'll welcome in the back straight representing South Australia. This is Leanne Vanderberg. And in the home straight from the ACT, we welcome Lauren Bates. Clean start for both our riders here. Lauren Bates, very strong last night, took the championship in the scratch race in the junior women's grade. She lit the field up a couple of times and put a real target on her back. Very strong last night, Lauren Bates. Expect to see that here today and also in the points race as the week goes on, or the next few days goes on. First lap, quite controlled by both riders, but now they're starting to move. Bates coming into the home straight. Vanderberg moving nicely as well. Nothing between these two. Vanderberg, fastest time so far, tracking nicely and really moving sharply up the home straight here. Vanderberg. The pursuit is the event she's here for, and she's really taking it on here. Nicely down the back straight. Fastest time. Lauren Bates, second fastest, so the fastest heat we've seen so far. No surprises there, really, as we go down through the seating. But Leanne Vanderberg starting in the back straight, leading Lauren Bates at the moment. Bates being asked for a little bit more here by the coach in the home straight because Leanne Vanderberg is really putting her under pressure here. It's going to be a tough last 3 laps, though. You can just see the shoulders and the head starting to rock a little bit with the South Australian. Lauren Bates seems to be lifting ever so slightly there as they go through. Vanderberg still leads this one, leads it comfortably for now. 2.5 laps to go for Vanderberg. Has Lauren Bates got anything left? It was a big day of racing yesterday. Coach is saying she's spot on for now. Vandenberg still leads the way though. Lap and a half to go for the South Australian here as she goes through, but Bates is coming home. We're going to get one to go when they come through this time. Vandenberg still leads, but have a look at Lauren Bates. She's up in front of her now. This is good, intelligent coaching, good bike riding here from Lauren Bates. Down the back straight, she's just in front of Vandenberg now. Still lifting all the way to the line, Lauren Bates. We've got a heat to go after this. This impressive ride by Bates. She goes across 2:21.035. Vandenberg 2:22.117. Great performance of pursuiting there from both riders. We've still got one heat to go in the junior women 19s individual pursuit qualifying, but 2:21 and 2:22. They have certainly put the mark on the ground, no trouble at all. Final heat, we welcome in the back straight from Queensland, Armely Sanders, and in the home straight from Victoria, we have Lilith Jones. Nice clean start from both riders here. Armely Sanders, the Queenslander, going to get loads of support here. 2:21 the time to go to top spot here. That was a ferocious heat before between Bates and Vandenberg. Now let's see if our final heat of the day for the junior women's 19 individual pursuit, can they get close? Lilith Jones is going nicely up into second spot at the moment over this very early part of the journey, so she's on schedule. Just have a look at the Victorian as she comes into the home straight this time. Have a look at the clock. Second again, Armely Sanders starting to move a little bit sharper now, just about 0.4 behind the Victorian. Riding into this one nicely, the Queenslander. Jones into the home straight. Look at the scoreboard time again. This is quick. 1:13.7 start there for Lilith Jones. Only 0.4 between these two, showing second and fourth on the scoreboard at the moment. So they're right where they need to be. They want to try and bring it home over these last 3 laps now. The Victorian in the home straight. The Queenslander starting to come back to her as Lilith Jones just drops back to third at the moment. Sanders still hovering around fourth. They're looking to qualify for a medal ride. Sanders needs to lift a little bit more. How close can they get to the 1 and 2 spots? Can Jones bring herself back up into the top 2 spots here? Third for now. Sanders going with her, just 0.3 between these two as they go back to 1.5 laps to go. A couple of bike lengths between them. Jones, the Victorian, leads the way in this heat. They're both tracking nicely to make the top 4. Jones goes through, third fastest at the moment. Got some work to do on this lap if she wants to make the final. Sanders, can she get herself in front of Jones? Can she hang on to fourth place? She's just dropped off the pace ever so slightly from the Victorian. Lilith Jones comes into the home straight. She's going to stop the clock comfortably into a ride-off for a medal. Sanders will do the same as well. The clock didn't stop, but I think you'll find Sanders will be the 4th fastest time unofficially. So we'll see those riders in the final later for the ride-off for the bronze medal. But the final will be between Lauren Bates and Vanderberg from South Australia after doing 2:21 and 2:22. Lilith Jones, third fastest. And when we get the official time, I would say Amelie Sanders is the fourth fastest there, unofficially. So for those of you joining us at home on AusCycling's YouTube page, I hope you're enjoying the coverage we're bringing you here this morning from the Anna Meares Velodrome. We're about to move on to our sprint events again, and we'll be going to the Junior Women 19s sprint quarterfinals. The riders just bring themselves up onto the blue band of the track and get themselves ready. So we welcome our first two riders up onto the track. Rider 134 is Phoenix Julian from New South Wales. Found her way here through the repechage. And it's the second time we get to see Lilia Tatarinov, our fastest qualifier here today in the Junior Women 19s. Of course, she got a bye in the first round, so she'll be nice and fresh for this one. Best of three. Needed to win two rides to be able to go through into the semi-finals. So no pace at all as she leads the way here, Phoenix Julian. She'll know she's got her work cut out against her for this one, to go up against Lily Tatarinov. Once again, we see fairly regular tactic being employed here in the junior women's division. Not really moving around too much on the banking in that first lap and a half by the first rider. The second rider, as you see with Lily Tatarinov, moving up and down the track, just trying to force the idea into the head of their opponent to get them to move up the track. It gives the second rider that opportunity to choose which side, to make the lead rider think about what they're doing. But Phoenix is going to stay on the front. She's having a bit of a look. They're coming up to one to go. Not a lot of pace on at the front. So Lily Tatarinov got plenty of room to move here as they go through the 200. Quite confident in her ability as she moves down the back straight. She knows she's got a lot of sprinting to do later today and also over the next couple of days with her racing. But Tatarinov, the Oceania champion, up round the outside, comfortable there to take ride number one. Well, that's exactly how you expect the fastest seed to ride in that situation. Just judge her effort to perfection and do what she has to do to get through. Okay, we move on to heat number 2, ride number 1. Oh, it's all Queensland affair, this one. We'll welcome onto the track rider 139, Olivia Wright, and her opponent Ella Liang from Queensland. Ella, the second fastest qualifier. Olivia finding her way here through the repechage. So Olivia Wright draws front position. She leads away the first time. It'll be Ella's turn to do so in the next one. Let's see if we have a change of tactics from our lead rider this time. Quite happy just to keep an eye on the shoulder, over the shoulder. It's quite okay as a tactic as long as you've got the power to really start fast and lead out from the front. Otherwise, you're giving a huge advantage to the rider behind, being able to gain a little bit of height, use the banking to get around as quickly as they can. The pace goes up a little bit. Ella Liang going up the top of the track, just trying to use the banking nicely. Good riding here from Ella. Use the banking as much as she can. Takes the pressure off the legs. Got to use the legs a lot more this afternoon. And she's underway here. Comfortably got this one in hand. As she heads down the back straight, Ella Liang not prepared to sit up at the moment because Olivia Wright, she's definitely going to sprint the full 200 metres. Ella's going to take it comfortably. But good ride there from Olivia. Didn't give up the ghost. Kept going all the way through to the line, which meant Ella had to just pay attention that little bit more. We saw a lot of racing yesterday, especially in the elite men's field, where once they were passed in the last 200 metres, the gas was just turned off, saving it for the next one. We saw a lot of that happening yesterday. We haven't seen that in these first 2 rides here this morning, or this afternoon now, I should say. The day's session, day 2 of our national championships. So far the seating has stayed the way it needs to stay. Lily Tatarinov, race 1, Ella Liang, race 1. And now we move on to our 3rd quarterfinal. And this will be between Hope Harnety of Victoria and Hayley Jack of Victoria. We've already seen Hayley Jack move herself one step further up in the seedings by winning her round 1 ride. Good tactics, very nice off the wheel. So let's see what happens here between the 2 Victorians. Hayley Jack has drawn the front spot. So she'll have to lead away this time. I get the feeling Hayley Jack might try and manoeuvre herself to 2nd position. We'll see. Hope Harnety. You see straight away, Hayley Jack straight to the top of the track. No messing around. She likes to be able to use the tactics. She does so straight away. That puts Hope Harnety on the front. I've got to say, Hope Harnety's one of those riders that probably quite happy to lead from the front. She was very fast, very strong in her qualifier, so she's not going to be perturbed by being forced to the front there. She didn't even try to stay in 2nd wheel, just moved through to the front. But Hayley Jack, what she'll be trying to do is just give herself a little bit of room so that she can try and run at the back wheel of Hope Harnety when they start to get underway and see if she can come out of the slipstream. Harnety doing the right thing, holding her up the track, deciding when we're going to go. Now they start to move. Hayley Jack realises that she has to try and get up around the outside because Hope was going to wait for her to move. It's a drag race between the 2 down the back straight. Good riding here from Jack up around the outside, but she's got to go twice as far as Hope, and Hope's going to push through the gap on the inside. Is she? Can she get there? No, she can't. That's strong ride there from Hayley Jack. Great piece of sprinting from both Victorians, but Hayley Jack takes the first ride. She's got to get 2 rides in this quarterfinal correct. But she starts moving herself up the seedings by winning these races after the qualifier. That was a great ride. Move on to our fourth heat, race number 1. This will be between the Queenslander Victoria Smith and the New South Wales rider Maya Dillon. So Victoria Smith leads down the back straight. You can see with the more confident sprinters straight up to the top of the track when they lead out like that. 4th fastest qualifier versus 5th. So expect a good contest between these two. Got to use the track, take full advantage of it. The track craft so important in match sprinting. Victoria Smith leads through, the Queenslander. Looks quite relaxed on the front of the bike there. Just sort of slouched on the front, not too worried, keeping a good eye on her opponent. Dillon just getting a little bit closer this time. Underneath, nice piece of riding there from Maya Dillon. Waited for Victoria just to move up ever so slightly, caught her off guard there. Now she's got the work to do, the Queenslander, as they head down the back straight. It's not all over for her just yet, but Dillon gets out of the saddle and accelerates again. Victoria Smith, she's coming, but she's not going to be quick enough this time. Don't think there's that much between those two. It was just good riding by Dillon, catching the Queenslander off guard, but she'll get another opportunity to correct that error in ride number 2. So the next event that was supposed to come out onto the track was our ride between 9 versus 10, which was going to be Sonja Vetic and Natasha Sitsky. But Natasha, as you saw earlier, wasn't feeling well and had to sit the rest of the competition out. So Sonja Vetic, she wins on a walkover. And once again, we look forward to seeing Natasha Sitsky back on the bike tomorrow, the rider from the ACT. We move forward now, ladies and gentlemen, into the Elite Women's Sprint quarterfinal. And we welcome onto the track, representing New South Wales, this is Selena Ho, and her opponent is the defending champion representing Queensland. This is Christina Clonan. Saw Christina Clonan ride 10.8 thereabouts in the qualifying ride, so she's just that bike length or so in front of everybody else in this competition. Selena Ho, though, very, very good tactical racer. She rode 11.50 in the qualifier, Selena. She got the bronze medal last night in the Keirin. Christina got the silver medal in the Keirin last night. So it gives you an idea of just the quality here. So they come through this time. Expect Selena Ho to really take the race up here. Nothing to lose. Best of three. Got to try something differently. Keeping a high pace, though. Very aware that Christina Clonan likes a long sprint because she's excellent over 500 metres. Oh, no. That wasn't in the plan. The gun has sounded. The gun has sounded. So Selena Ho, turn off the gas. The gun has sounded. So unfortunately, Christina Clonan, when she made the move to go down the track, she just twitched a little bit too much on the disc wheels and just overcorrected ever so slightly and slipped there. So unfortunately, a mistake to herself. So the guns sounded by our chief judge and commissaires, and what will happen there is it'll just be a re-ride, and Selena Ho will get the choice of where she starts on the start line, whether she leads or goes to second. So the gun sounds, it will be a re-ride. We hope Christina can get up off the floor and be okay. And we'll just take a moment for our commissaires just to check the track, being a wooden track, and bikes going down on it like that. You just want to check to make sure there's no splinters that have suddenly popped up and make sure the track's okay. But most importantly, we'll just take a moment to make sure Christina's okay. So a round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. Christina's up on her feet. And we will also be just waiting a few moments for a track repair. So good time to get a refreshment or two for yourselves if you're here at the stadium. And if you're at home, won't be much action for the next few minutes while we just make sure the track's ready to go. I'll give you a moment to go and get yourselves a drink, freshen up. We'll welcome you back in a few moments' time. So as we wait for a little bit of track repair to happen, we've got the Velobike gear shop in the back straight. Those of you who are at the stadium, those of you who are on the AusCycling live stream, we'll be able to see all the gear that's available in the back straight, all the super duper Velobike handlebars, chain rings, head stems. Once upon a time, you can only buy a head stem for a bike that was about 140 millimetres long. They've got them in the back straight for 170 millimetres long, believe it or not. So definitely not a T-Rex handlebar or stem. We have a look at the track. We're just cleaning it up, making sure it's all okay. Just making sure that one or two splinters aren't sticking out, because with 200 pounds plus in each tyre, you don't want something sharp just going through. It'll pop like a balloon. Just making sure that doesn't happen. So if you're in the grandstands, get yourselves around and see the guys and girls at Velobike. We've got some nice Campagnolo t-shirts and everything for sale as well, and some superb wheels on display around there. It's a good thing my wife didn't let me bring the credit card to Queensland this week, otherwise we'd have lost some money. So ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on in our rounds of the quarterfinal sprinting now. We will see race one come back out onto the track between Christina Clonan and Selena Ho, and it still will be race number one once Christina's ready to go. But we're going to move through and go to heat 2, 3 and 4 before we come back to race number one. And we welcome our next heat up onto the track. Please welcome from Queensland, this is Jackie Mengler-Moore, and from Western Australia, Christine Perkins. So Jackie Mengler-Moore has drawn front position. Keeps a good eye over the shoulder at Christine Perkins. Christine Perkins, little pocket rocket from Western Australia, back into the sport. Last time we saw her at this level, as I've said before, 2007 bronze medalist in the World Championship with Anna Meares. And she hasn't really been back on the bike that long. About 13 or 14 weeks is all she's been back on the bike. She does a lot in the gymnasium, runs her own company there. But I tell you what, Jackie Mengler-Moore, 11.07 in qualifying this morning. Got herself up into that second position, split the difference between Christina Clonan and Alessia McCaig. So Jackie has turned up ready to go here. And she's showing a lot of respect here to Christine Perkins as they come through with 1 lap to go now. Mengler-Moore stops looking over the shoulder, gets on with the job at hand down the back straight. Christine Perkins really trying to get in the slipstream here as they go through the bend, but Jackie Mengler-Moore so strong from the front. Good piece of riding here from Perkins. She gets up to the bottom bracket, but Mengler-Moore just a little bit too strong and fast for that one. She'll take race number 1. They've got 1 to come at least here, and Christine Perkins will try and work out a better way to go about it. But Jackie Mengler-Moore, the Queenslander, has turned up to the National Championships ready to go. We move on to the next heat of our women's elite quarterfinals. Welcome from Victoria, Alessia McCaig, and from Queensland, Emma Stevens. So Emma Stevens leads the way down the back straight, going up against the new Keirin champion of Australia in Alessia McCaig. Great win by her last night. She'll be looking forward to this day of competition. Just staying down the bottom of the track as she comes into the home straight, Emma Stevens. Alessia McCaig just moves up alongside her, just indicating that she wants to use all the track here. This is what we see from the more established sprinters. They want to be a little bit higher up on the track, room to move. It's good riding by Stevens, keeping McCaig high, but of course what they can't do is they can't close that door totally. Just trying to ride it a little bit more intimidating. But McCaig does exactly what you're supposed to, just uses the banking a little bit to get up the gear onto speed. Now she sits back in the wheel. Alessia McCaig has turned up here full of confidence after the Nations Cup, knows exactly how fast she's going, up round the outside. Wins it by about a tyre's width, but well within herself then. Great ride there from Alessia McCaig. She knew exactly what she was doing. Move on to our next heat now, the elite women's quarterfinals. Welcome from New South Wales, Thomas and Clark, and from Queensland, please welcome Sophie Watts. This is the fourth heat, but only the third ride so far. We're still going to be waiting on the ride between Christina Clonan and Selena Ho after the mishap with Christina in ride number 1. As Thomas and Clark leads away from Sophie Watts. Sophie Watts, great qualifying ride. Got herself up into the top 4. So important to be able to nail that qualifying ride, otherwise it makes the day that much harder. To the home straight, 2 laps to go. Nothing to speak of just yet between the two. Watts starts to go a little bit. It goes with her, doing the right thing, accelerating away. Good tactic here by Clark. As soon as her opponent went high, she went, no worries. You want to go high, make yourself go further, I'll just speed up. Now she does the same again. Watts starting to move a little bit now. And Clark sees an advantage here because she can see that Sophie Watts just laying off possibly a little bit too much. That's what she's hoping for anyway as they head down the back straight. Clark has got a good lead here as she comes through the bend. I think Sophie Watts has left herself a little bit much work to do here. Thomas and Clark reverses the seedings on that one, takes ride number 1, 11.69 across the line. She saw that Sophie Watts was laying off possibly just that little bit much. She thought, I might as well try it, and it's worked out. Put your hands together for the New South Wales rider. Great piece of riding. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move back to race number 1 of our women's sprint quarter-final. And this will be between Selena Ho and Christina Clonan. Bike's ready, Selena's ready, and you'll just see your Queensland champion, defending national champion, Christina Clonan has literally just walked up the stairs from the medical room with her coach, Carly McCulloch. Put your hands together for both riders, but put your hands together for Christina Clonan, ladies and gentlemen. Straight out of the medical room and back onto the bike for this one. So once again, we expect a very tough contest between Selena and Christina this time. I don't mean to embarrass our coaching staff, but the coaching staff we have inside this velodrome is second to none. Former world sprint champion Sean Eadie holding Selena Ho on the start line there. Of course, former world champion Carly McCulloch about to bring Christina Clonan up onto the track as well. So here we go again, Christina Clonan up on the track. You can see on her skin suit there, a little bit shredded from that mishap earlier. Selena Ho, she leads away this time. See the big red burn mark on the top of the thigh there of Christina Clonan, just underneath where her speed suit ends. So one of the things they don't tell you about in cycling, yes, you can hurt yourself when you fall off, but the wood burns or the concrete burns when you fall off on track racing there. Just a little bit something else to deal with over the next couple of days. Let's hope she can recover today. Of course, we're going to see her in the 500-metre time trial as well. And judging by the times, the Queensland women's team sprint team is going to be very, very handy indeed over this next couple of days. So plenty to look forward to, plenty of racing to come. They go through with 2 laps to go. Selena Ho keeping a good eye on the defending champion. Has it unsettled her? How's she going to go? They'll come up to a lap and a half to go. It's looking very similar to the first ride. Not quite as much pace on from the front this time from Selena Ho. Christina Clonan stays high this time, doesn't dive down, doesn't cause herself the same reaction as before. Selena Ho, she's riding her tactically here, but she's going to unleash into the 200 metres. Could have possibly held her up for a little bit longer, because once Christina Clonan gets going, remember she rides at 10.8. They come together almost as they come into the home straight. Clonan goes across. What a fight back that was. Great piece of riding from Selena Ho to take her on. The difference of 10.8 to 11.5 in qualifying between these two. But Christina Clonan, she takes ride number 1 after her mishap. Put your hands together, please. The defending champion and Queenslander, Christina Clonan. So ladies and gentlemen, we have a little bit of a change of pace again. We go on to event 42 now, the elite women's individual pursuit qualifying. We have 6 heats in all. And the first heat will come out onto the track very shortly. Just the one rider in heat number 1, and it'll be Summer Nordmeyer of South Australia. So Summer Nordmeyer of South Australia is our first competitor here in the elite women's individual pursuit, over 3,000 metres, 12 laps of the track. Without doubt the toughest job in the sport for track cycling, individual pursuit qualifying, heat 1, and then you don't get to ride against anybody. So I ask all of our crowd here to try and put your hands together every now and then through this 12 laps and give Summer some real support here. Tough work for the South Australian. It's a hot day. Very muggy conditions here inside the Anna Meares Velodrome for these riders. Summer goes through. She's going to try and set the best time she possibly can and just see where it ends up. Like I said earlier today, thank you for those of you joining us on the AusCycling YouTube channel. We're getting some nice messages from all around the country. And of course, for those of you who know the history of our live streaming channels here at Queensland, just to my left-hand side, I have about 5 parents of children who are racing, who actually run the live streaming here, led by Bear Liange and his family. So they do an absolutely fantastic job. Home straight and back straight cameras, so you can see the splits between the riders and the individual pursuits. And of course this evening you'll be able to watch SBS On Demand. You'll be able to listen to Kate Bates and Scott McGorry take the evening session so that we can get our sport out to even more people who wouldn't necessarily go looking for the AusCycling channel. If you're sitting in the grandstands and you know people might want to see this and they maybe have forgotten that they can log on and see it because they're looking for SBS On Demand rather than the YouTube channel, just send them a text message. Let them know it's on. They'll be able to see some great racing because we've got some scratch races coming up. Quite possibly some of the most exciting scratch races you'll see this weekend because we have 2 qualifying rides for the junior men's 19 division. 4 riders only will be eliminated from each race. The rest get to go into the final. If you've ever seen the junior men race scratch races at national championships, you're going to see 2 very exciting scratch races just to make the final here this afternoon. That's coming up shortly. Meanwhile, we're watching Summer Nordmeyer. She's going to have 3.5 laps to go. She heads down the back straight at the moment. See how her time will stack up as the afternoon progresses. We've got a very good quality women's individual pursuit field here. 2.5 to go for Summer as she heads down the back straight. Nice and comfortable on the bike. Beautifully aerodynamic position as she comes into the home straight. On the Argon time trial bike, they've got a beautiful setup in the way the handlebars are put together on the front of these Argon bikes. Very aerodynamic, very comfortable. Looking for such a fast bike. She'll come up this time, Summer, and get 1 lap to go. Just being asked a little bit more by her coach, Ashley Ankudinoff, Olympian and world champion. Another one of our superstar coaches, South Australian coach, South Australian Sports Institute coach. So much talent in our coaching realm for our riders to deal with. 3:43.830 for Summer. First time set on the day. We welcome in the back straight this time from Ireland, Erin Crichton, and in the home straight from New South Wales, Hayley Fuller. Both riders away cleanly from the start line, and another one of our events here where we have international competitors competing. And of course, we welcome the first of our Irish riders taking part here, and it's Erin Crichton coming into the home straight. So a great initiative to have internationals racing at the national titles here. This takes the level of competition to another level. We saw that in the scratch race last night. The Irish rider Lara Gillespie taking the win in the scratch race last night. And Petra Sevcikova of the Czech Republic taking second, which meant Ali Anderson, the South Australian, got in the breakaway, took a lap with the two internationals, and went home as a national champion. A little bit different looking podium. National champion's jersey with a bronze medal in third place. But you couldn't really see the colour of the medal because the smile on Ali Anderson's face and the smile of the rest of the South Australian team absolutely shone through that. So Ali's going home national scratch race champion. And she'll remember that night for a very, very long time. We're going through now, Erin Crichton and Hayley Fuller, showing the fastest and second fastest times at the moment out on track. We've got 4 riders from the Irish team here riding the individual pursuit. And stayed on after riding Nations Cup. I would say they're going to travel up to Hong Kong for the next round of the Nations Cup before heading back to the colder side of the world, has to be said. They'll be getting fit here in Australia at the moment, won't they? They won't have to do any indoor training while they're here. They'll all be outdoors. They come through this time. We have a look at the time this time. Emma Crichton moving very nicely indeed with 1 kilometre to go. When she gets to the back straight, we'll have a look at her time. So 3:43, the fastest time so far. 2:24 here for Crichton. So she's gone through about a 1:14 and then a 1:10. So if she can get herself through in another 1:10, she'll have herself sitting around the 3:35, 34:35 mark, which I'd say is what she's trying to aim at, judging by the way she's going at the moment. Hayley Fuller, can she bring herself back into this battle between the Irish rider over the last few laps here? A very good list of riders here. And of course, we're going to see Felicity Wilson-Haffenden of Tasmania take on the individual pursuit here. The World Junior Time Trial Champion on the road last year. And signed a road contract with Trek Little, or Little Trek. Saw her training here yesterday in her Pro Tour gear. I expect her to surprise us here this afternoon. Erin Crichton coming into the home straight, half a lap to go for the Irish rider. Trying to set the fastest time she can. It's fallen off that sort of pace that we were talking about earlier, trying to get inside 38, 39, 38.93 for Crichton. Hayley Fuller goes across 3:41.666. So the fastest 2 times so far of this group. Warm conditions out there for our riders, warming up for the individual pursuit, the pursuit itself, and now they're going to try and cool off as best they can. You'll see a lot of ice vests and so forth on the track centre today because it is very warm down in the track centre.